Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. We got Rudo, we got Eric, we got Gizmo. We're all back in studio. Why? Because it's today the official first day of preseason. Does this count?
I smelled Zamboni fumes and ice.
Yeah.
And, locker room and equipment. It was great.
Back at the rink, baby. Even
nice.
if it is just a rookie camp day.
All right.
What do you call it? Is it really a rookie camp if it's just one day?
Rookie skate?
Yeah, maybe that's a better term. Rookie skate.
Rookie skate?
Yeah.
Get your feet wet, skate. Get organize day.
Figure something out
whatever.
for the face-off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Try to figure out who's on your power play for the rookie face-off.
They're on the way to L.A.
I know. They're already
wheels
on the
up
plane.
right now.
It goes quick. We will be talking a bunch of rookie stuff, rookie face-offs, the Avs lineup, and things like that. But I wanted to get into a little bit of news before we get into that. Not that there's any major real news so far today, but people are buzzing. People are talking about Gabe Landeskog once again, because today he skated with 5 other players, sort of. He kind of skated on his own, would jump in and do one drill every so often. What's your guys' take on this with Landeskog? Because it's been over 2 years now. Do you look at these little steps? One, do they even mean anything? If he took a drill with the guy today. Is that really meaningful progress? And 2, is it okay to have hope? Or are we just kind of, we'll see it when we see it at this point?
I think it's okay to have hope. He's, one of the faces of the franchise. He's certainly the face of the leadership group. I understand Nate and Kale and Mikko, but Gabe is the captain. Gabe is the leader. Gabe's the Viking. He's the guy that gets it going, not just by his style of play, but in the locker room and in the community. And he's grown up so much since a young boy that showed up. Again, always been a mature young man, but now a father, of a few kids. And this guy means a lot to the Avalanche logo. Now, I think it's okay to hope. I think not known to us, and it shouldn't be, but he does have a plan with the medical staff on what needs to be done daily to attain X amount of check boxes, in order to be able to step foot on the ice, A, for a real practice, B, for a real game in the National Hockey League, which is it's not a beer league game. It's not a summer practice. It's a tough environment. So I think he's got it all laid out with the medical staff and the strength conditioning staff and his own doctors and the team doctors and how to get there. And I think what you see today are things like that, where he's checking the boxes of what needs to be done. And I think it's important. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not his doctor, but I'm pretty sure that he's been told, follow the script, don't go off script. It might give you some setbacks or whatever it is. So I think it's important to go, even if you feel good, to follow what's been laid out. And let's cross our fingers as doctors, as teammates, as himself, that he's ready at some point to play a game in the National Hockey League. I think us as fans and covering the Avalanche, it's more, you just hope that you see the number 92 out there, you know what I mean, and have some fun. And man, oh man, damn well he's going to do everything in his power to make sure that this happens again, because quite frankly, he's still too young, to be a retired guy, and he's got a lot more to give besides that injury, obviously. So hopefully, that injury will be behind him at some point, and he'll be able to get back. But I think you are allowed to hope and believe, absolutely.
Yeah, I always hated the phrase "it's the hope that kills you." Like, I'm a big Ted Lasso guy. I think it's the opposite. I think it's the lack of hope that comes and gets you. So, believe in it and believe and be excited that it is progress for him. I mean, I think it's worse news if he's not out there skating and he's not out there engaging and he's not around the team, the fact that he is, and the fact that that just his presence in and of itself is hopeful for the guys on the team. Now, the reality of it is that if it does not progress to, if listen, that's just how life is. If he doesn't get back to the level of player, call it whatever you want to. I mean, I saw someone in the comments right there from in the Toyota chat, 75-80% Gabe is better than 80% of the league, if not more. True.
I don't know if that's true,
But the point being is you know, at some point you're going to have to make a really hard decision if he can't do it. And I hate to say that, but that's just the nuts and bolts of it. And you know what? That's being a leader, too. You know, being a leader is also being able to say, hey, I can't go. I can't go. I'm hurting you guys by remaining on, you know, the cap and taking the money away. We got to call it. And I think that's a big decision that we're not ready for right now, but it's out there.
I'll tell you this. They announced the NHL trade deadline this year is March 7th at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
If Gabe doesn't know by then, it's done.
Yeah, I would agree.
You got to spend that money if you don't have it in Gabe. And,
I would agree.
And at that point, you're talking about nearly 3 years of no Gabe Landeskog. It's nobody wants it to be done.
No.
But if he can't do it for 3 straight years, then you just can't do it anymore.
Well, I'm going to go with Giz's comment there about, hey, better news. Like, you know, when you see him out there, it is good news. You know what I mean? So,
and that's the hope, for sure.
And my point is you got a young kid coming to camp next week. You see Gabe Landeskog in the locker room and rubbing elbows with him. And, you know, I think it's a lasting impression on the young guy. You know what I mean? And a guy that most likely, a player X, that most likely will go back to his junior team. He can say, oh, yeah, this Landeskog is the man. And you should have seen the way he handles himself with people and the staff. And he's a great example to follow. So I think just having him out there right now, and when I say out there, not necessarily on the ice, because you're not going to see him at practice next week. Not a chance. But just being around is instrumental for the organization, instrumental for those young guys to see what a true leader is. And it's fun to see, because, you know, when you go back to your junior team, the first thing they say is, how's that Kel McCarr? How's that May McKinnon? What about this Landeskog? How is he? You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, they're impressions that last a long time, and that's why it's important to have a good core. The Avalanche, we know they have it. When I say core, it's not only are they good players, but they're good people. And they have a little cast of characters that's a little different, right? You know, you got Kale, that's the nicest human being on earth, and you got Mikko, that's a little, you know, funny, and, you know, and then Nate, that's so serious, and, you know, and then you got Gabe, that's like a little mixed bag of everything. And so they have a good mixture. So, like, I'll go with you, what you said. Believe, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary for fans. It's frustrating for fans, right? Because you want, you know, solid, and you want certainty. Well, it's the same thing on the management side. It's the same thing amongst the boys in the locker room. They're also looking for their captain. All of these things factor in, and there's just a difference in hockey when you got that guy in the room day in and day out, on the plane day in and day out, especially when there's young guys around, because they're looking for him for the reaction. Like, okay, well, my captain's not panicking, so I don't have to panic, kind of a deal. That's why coaches, for the most part, stay, you know, sort of mellow down the line, and then, you know, react and scream and yell when they need to, because they know that they're the pulse of the team, setting the tone. So I think that's what they miss. I would also say, and I'm going to throw this out there, and I want to be very clear on this. I am not saying, give me that one shot, buddy. I am not saying that Gabe Landeskog should not be the captain of the Colorado Avalanche, but if it doesn't look like he's going to come back for quite some time, my suggestion would be to temporarily put the C on a jersey and just let there be a set C in the room. And then as soon as Landy's back, he's right back on his jersey.
I hate doing that. I hate doing the temporary C thing. I think the captain is the captain. There's a reason you have A's, and those are guys who step in. With that being said, if Landeskog gets to March 7th and you realize he's not going to play this year, it's real easy for me to put the C on Cale Makar real quick then.
And listen, it could be a heavyweight. The C can be a heavyweight. I mean, the C can be a heavyweight.
Definitely. There are people who are built for it and people who are not. There's a reason I'm saying it should go to Cale Makar and not Nathan McKinnon. Like,
great.
I mean, you could have a full show on this. Maybe we can talk about it this weekend. Maybe we get some people that we can talk to about, that kind of stuff. But
I knew a guy or two.
Yeah, and maybe you can look back at Roberto Luongo, right? Or, goalies shouldn't have it. No, he can do it. Then all of a sudden, after, was it 1 year? I think Louis was like, no. Like you're saying it's a burden. It is. It can be a burden. Again, I'm the guy that talks out loud all the time that it's more about the pictures and the fans and all that kind of stuff, because maybe I never had one, so I'm biased towards not having it, but who knows? Hey, they're fun discussions because I don't think there's right or wrong answer. So your point's not bad, and then Rudo just back-ending you right there is not bad either, because at the end of the day, I think there's no right or wrong answer. You know what I mean?
It's preference. I always liked having a captain in the room, even if it wasn't me.
I get it. I don't disagree with that concept. I think it becomes really awkward in a situation where that C ends up going back to Landeskog if he does come back and get healthy. You end up in these weird situations. Not that I think the Avs room is really tight and it really wouldn't be a big deal.
That's my point kind of too.
But you've seen rooms, there's some arguments about who should be having certain letters. Not the Avs. Don't think that's ever really been a problem, certainly for this iteration of the Avs. So maybe I'm overthinking it. But again, it doesn't... With Landeskog, I think there's reason to have optimism. Obviously, as much him doing drills as them saying, hey, it's less a matter of if and more a matter of when between him and Bednar this offseason. So I would be pretty surprised if you do not see Gabe Landeskog play some games this year. I don't know how it's going to go, though. So we just have to wait and see on that front. We do have a question here from the Toyota chat saying it would be nice to hear your thoughts on the goalie situation. Can Annunen take the role of starter? It's certainly not immediately. Georgiev is going to be the starter to start the season pretty much no matter what. Now, at game 40, does somebody get hurt? Has Georgiev struggled? Who knows what that situation could look like. Annunen may well get that opportunity, but I don't have a crystal ball to tell you what's going to be happening at that point of the season. So I would say for the start of the season, I would expect Annunen to be a pretty clear backup, not even really a tandem guy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take that take, Yeah. But what I'll say is I think he knows what to expect now from this league. A lot's thrown at you when you've never been around, and it feels overwhelming at times, and one game can feel like 400, you know what I mean? But once you go into the past the 15, 20, 25 games, all of a sudden you get accustomed to the league a little bit. You get accustomed of what works for you, what doesn't work. Here's what I'll say about him. I think he's a lot more equipped this year to take on some games. Think about it a year ago at this time when you're talking about him, you're really like, it's a very, very small sample. It still is a small sample, but you look in the playoffs, he was probably one stomach bug away from jumping in. Let's not kid ourselves here. He was. Yep. If he didn't have the stomach flu or whatever he did that day, he was probably in net, and who knows what would have happened. Do I think he's got the capacity and the talent and to be a good goalie in the National Hockey League? Absolutely. Time will tell. But I think it's more the Tom Brady mentality. It doesn't matter what they ask you to do. You just make sure you do it right. So if they ask you to play one freaking game this month, then you make sure that game's played right. And if they ask you to play 4 games that week and a half, then make sure you play and you got to be ready. And that's where I have so much respect for Tom Brady when he came in. And I'm not a football guy, but he was ready for the opportunity that came his way.
And you gotta be also a good teammate, right? Like, he's got to understand he's not gonna maybe play a ton of games, but he better be sharp in practice, and he better be pushing Georgiev. And then on the same side, he better be cheering him on during games when he's playing and whatnot. So I think it's important to be a good tandem. I think sometimes a lot of people think that the goalie position, there's a little animosity between the two. They're actually pretty close most of the time. There's not very often situations where you've got the starter and the backup beefing. I'll give Max a ton of credit for that. I mean, you kind of instilled that in your son Max, who I've coached in hockey for a while, and now watch him. He was, no matter whether he was playing or not, he was definitely always ready to go. Like, as a coach, I knew that if, gosh forbid, something happened to the guy that I started at that given moment, I was like, all right, well, Max is going to be good. He stretched, he warmed up, he was ready to play. But I also knew that he was the guy who was the biggest cheerleader on the bench, hanging over the boards, smacking his stick, pumping up the guy that was in net.
You got to make sure you're ready to go, but also you got to be a good teammate, and you got to take your lick if you're not playing. Yeah. So be a team guy.
Well, I'll tell you this. Whatever happens with Annunen, I hope I'm cracking Coors Lights after the game, celebrating W's. So make sure you get yourself some Coors Light and choose the chill mindset. You can do whatever you want with Coors. Obviously, throw great parties, but even if things don't go perfectly, you can settle the score after a tough loss with an ice-cold peace offering and make the choice to choose chill with Coors Light. It's the beer literally made to chill. The mountains turn blue on the can or the bottle. Make sure you go check them out. I will be enjoying them for sure on watch-alongs this year and things like that. So go get yourself a Coors Light, or better yet, stay home and go to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Get them ordered right to your front door thanks to Instacart. You don't even have to get up off the couch to order your Coors Light. Again, go get with them at CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Let them know we sent you over there, rather. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. And once you got a Coors in your hand, maybe a couple of drinks, you'll get a prophecy, a vision of the perfect parlay, perhaps, over on Bet365. Go sign up for Bet365 today with code DNVR365. Get your bets in, and when you sign up with that DNVR365 code, you bet $5 on anything, you get $200 in bonus bets when you do. So might as well. You get $200 in free dollars to bet.
I did it.
You did it, and you made money.
I made money.
You're way in the black right now.
Way in the black.
So
use the 200. Use the 200 and turn it into 4.
Bam, right there.
Loved it.
Then you're on top with Bet365. Again, make sure you use that DNVR365 code when you sign up. And when you do, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I want to start getting into our rookies. Look, I think there are a handful of names that stand out as the guys who are more important for the Avs at this rookie faceoff this season. And that starts with Cal Ritchie and Oskar Olaussen on the forward side. We have an interview with both of them from their presser today at rookie camp. So let's roll that beautiful bean footage.
For Cal and Oskar?
Cal, I guess you didn't get to do the full summer, camp and training and all that stuff last year. How's it been this year? And I guess how'd you feel today?
Yeah, it's been awesome. Obviously last year was tough not being part of it, but I was still taking in a lot and learning lots last year. So I feel like I'm in a good position this year, going into it. I kind of know what to expect and stuff. So I'm looking forward to it.
In July, you said you put on around 10 pounds. It's probably a little bit more since then. Has it been an adjustment, kind of getting used to more muscle in the body?
I don't notice it too much on the ice. I think I'm at 17 pounds more now since the end of playoffs there. So, I feel good out there. I've been skating a lot here the last couple of weeks, so I feel adjusted and all that. So, yeah, I feel good.
Oskar, for you, the injury last year, and it was probably disappointing for you. Just how good has it felt to be able to get back on the ice and kind of go full go with camp this week?
It feels really good. It's fun to compete again and be around the guys again. So yeah, I'm really excited.
What was that like mentally for you last year, having to work through the injury and stay focused on rehab?
It was tough, but I got the boys around me there in the beginning, which was huge. And then I was just getting extra motivated to get back and play good this year.
What is the most important thing you can get out of this face-off?
Just trying to be dominant, show that I'm a leader out there. This is my 4th year, I think. So just get ready for main camp and show what I can do.
Cal, at the World Junior Showcase, you mentioned that the Avs had high expectations of you, and that gave you confidence that they believe in your future with the organization. Can you tell me about what those expectations are and how they've helped prepare you to meet them?
Yeah, I think, I mean, obviously they used the first round pick on me, so there's putting a lot of trust in me to succeed. So, I mean, they've helped me a ton with my development this summer, like taking care of my training. They've been making sure like what skates I'm doing, all that stuff. So it's helped me tons. I've been here for 3 weeks now, so the training I'm getting here is second to none. So yeah, I'm just really glad and really thankful for their development team.
Do you feel the pressure to perform based on how much value they've placed on you at all in an event like this?
I mean, for myself, I always kind of put pressure on myself. I don't really care about external pressure. I mean, I'm just, I mean, I always want to be the best, and I mean, that pressure's always on me.
Where do you feel overall coming into this weekend? Body, mind, just kind of where you're at in your hockey world leading into a big week?
Yeah, I feel really good. I mean, like I said, I've been here for 3 weeks now training, and training with a lot of NHL guys, a lot of guys on the Avs, so like some of the best players in the world. So I'm feeling good, feeling confident going into the rookie tournament.
Who have you been leaning on while you've been here for those 3 weeks? Who have you really gotten the most out of, and what kind of have you gained from that?
Yeah, like Andrew Cogliano's been really helpful for me. And he's helped me with my development all summer. Josh Manson, super good guy, he's helped me a ton. Logan O'Connor, and then being on the ice like with Nathan McKinnon, those guys, they're unbelievable. So it's great to be on the ice with all those guys.
Last couple.
I guess on that, and this is for either one of you guys, what is that like, you know, this time of year when you get to jump on the ice with Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar? I mean, is that kind of a, you have to pinch yourself a little bit that you're out there with those guys sometimes?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, it's more like when I'm like having conversations with them. Like when I'm on the ice with them, you're not really thinking too much about that. You're just trying to keep up and try to do well for being on the ice with those guys.
What's it been like for you? Because you know you had an NHL game in. You know, what has it been like for you to not only be making this push, but be able to lean on guys like Nathan McKinnon?
What do you mean?
Just being around. I mean, the Avs have Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, Mikko Rantanen, some of the premier players in the league. How big is that for you to be able to lean on players of that caliber?
Yeah, I think it's really exciting to see how they work off the ice and stuff like that. I remember last week, I think me, Foods, and McKinnon went on the ice, and yeah, McKinnon was helping us a lot with details and stuff like that. So it's good practice for me. So yeah, I think it's exciting.
Just last one. You were on 58 last year, now you're at 71. I know someone took 58, but any reason behind 71?
Yeah, I didn't really have like too many options, and it's kind of on the spot. So I just looked at 71. I was like, okay, it kind of looks like 21, my number from junior. So and obviously I can't have 21 because Forsberg. So yeah, no, I just picked 71.
Thanks, guys.
Nice.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Well, I think it's safe to say Cal Ritchie understood the assignment this summer.
Yeah.
Put on weight, bulk up, get ready to try and compete at the NHL level. I know we're really only going off of 170% speed practice here, but do you guys think he can do it? Do you guys think he is physically ready to play in the NHL?
I mean, listen, he sure looks good. I mean, I was in the presser there, and he looks good. He looks thicker in a good way. All the right answers, all the right work in the off season. He's been here for 3 weeks. As you heard him talk about, he mentioned that, the developmental staff that he's super thankful for was instrumental in his process over the summer. They crafted his skates. They crafted his workouts. He spent 3 weeks here, the last 3 weeks here on the ice with a bunch of great NHLers and Avs. So he's been skating with guys from around the league as well, not just guys here in Colorado. So, hey, when preparation meets opportunity, good things tend to happen. And I think he probably did all he could do in the offseason to put himself in the best possible spot. And now he's got to just make it work.
Eric, you were a little bit older than Ritchie when you were breaking into the league, but can you speak to that difference in the level of physicality that he has to step up to?
Guys are so strong. They're a physical specimen. Man, I mean, they're just beasts out there. Like, they are so in shape, and they're fine-tuned athletes. And I think when it comes down to him, and I'm not saying he's full of poo-poo in his words. You know what I mean? I'm saying actions speak louder than words, right? So now he has to go out there and do it. He didn't have the opportunity to do it last year because he was injured in training camp. So now there's some expectations, there's some eyeballs on you.
Yeah.
When you're a first-round pick, and we all know he slipped a little bit in the draft because of his injury and, you know, all that stuff, and the Avs took a flyer on him, so to speak, right? I mean, if I'm going back a couple years. Now it's up to you to prove them right. And you got to prove yourself right as well. You know what I mean? It's not just, I got to prove people right. No. You owe it to yourself to go out there and give the best of your ability, your best performance you can get out there. It starts with the rookie camp. Yeah, like I've said, and I'll say it again, you have a lot more pressure than Joe Blow or Joe Guy, whatever his name is, Mr. X, Little Billy, that's invited as an invite. You know, this guy's got no pressure. So, yeah, and you should. I think he's talked about pressure a little bit, like, Pressure is warranted.
We talked about it right here. He talked about it in this press conference too. He mentioned the fact that, you know, hey, they used a number one pick on me. So yeah, I do feel some pressure, and I do need to live up to the expectation. You know, and I think that shows a lot of the character and the gratitude that this kid's got.
That's my point. Pressure is earned. It is earned. So you can't shy away from it. You gotta want it. You gotta cherish it. And I think, you know, it looks like he's got a little swag on him. It looks like he's ready to go. I'm very excited, actually, to see what he can do. And it starts a little bit like Malinsky last year, as maybe the highest-rated prospect last year. We're thinking who's going to play the most games last year. I think we said Malinsky, and we were right. Now he's in a different situation, this one, because he's only 19, where Sam was in his 20s and couldn't go back to juniors. But this is a guy that there are opportunities. And, you know, you got to go out there and make decisions, and you got to go out there and play the best of your capabilities and show and do what you do best. Don't be something you're not. Be something that you are, which is what? A highly skilled, highly talented player that can create, that's got some good size, good reach, and then go play the center position where the Avs can look at it and go, man, you know, down the road, who knows when, could be this year, could be next year. You know, we have McKinnon, we have Middlestat, we have Cal Ritchie. You want to be in those conversations, and it sounds like the kid's putting the pressure on himself to be able to be in those conversations.
We talked about this a little bit yesterday, about this not being just like a PR move, the rookie face-off. For a guy like CR, he got it. I mean, it's big for him.
Yeah.
It's big for him. You know, he's got to play these games like it's a regular season game in the NHL.
And I want to touch on exactly that topic, because Eric says this about things like the rookie face-off all the time. When you're talking about someone of Cal Ritchie's caliber, you can't help yourself a lot at a tournament like this, right? You can only really hurt yourself if you don't live up to those expectations you guys were talking about, and that's it's difficult. It's the pressure he's talking. That's the pressure he's talking about in that presser. Is if he doesn't play well at this rookie tournament, guess what? He's probably not making the Avs this year.
Because he's going to go there and he's going to dominate and be awesome, then it's a check mark for the organization. Like, okay, pass the test, move on to the next one. What's the next one? Preseason games coming up. What's the next one? Cracking the roster. What's the next one? Playing real games. Guys like Macklin, Celebrini, guys like Will Smith this weekend, you know, they're going to dominate. And it's not like the teams are going to be like, oh, my God, it was so awesome to see. No, they're going to be like, yeah, that's why we drafted him in the first round. It's the same thing for Cal Ritchie.
Yep.
You're supposed to dominate.
Yep.
And it's not like, it's not a bad thing. And when I say that, it's not a negative thing. It's just, I think Sam passed the test last year, Malinsky. Thought he went to those games. He was awesome.
Yeah.
That's who we talked about after every game. We're like, hey, this guy's, he's, again, older college guy, more mature, was a step above all the other guys on D. We knew that all of a sudden this guy was going to get some games this year. It's just a matter of time. So it's the same thing now with Cal, and it's the same thing for Oskar. I mean, I don't know if we can switch the subject.
We'll get
if you
into
don't want to,
just a
perfect.
minute.
But it's more like that's where the pressure comes from. And pressure is warranted. It's earned. Like I say it all the time. It's a privilege, you know, to be able to handle and to have that kind of pressure. That means things are good for you. If you're a no name and nobody talks about you, yeah, there's no pressure, you know, because it's like you don't exist.
Yep.
So that's a good thing.
Great Billie Jean. Pressure is a privilege.
There you go. Look, what you don't want is pressure to have to deal with your car
Ah, yes.
all the time. And look, Giz, you haven't learned this about this beat yet?
Yeah.
Kind of cursed with cars.
Oh, great.
All right. So
Wonderful.
get ready to have to deal with your car.
Wonderful.
All right.
I'll get AAA updated here.
Avoid that by going and getting a Toyota. All right. Get yourself a better car with the opportunity at your Front Range Toyota stores. Jump on it with the official vehicle of DNVR. That is all the Toyotas, whether it's the RAV4 if you want an SUV, or maybe you just want a sedan like me and you take a Corolla. Maybe you're a truck guy who has to haul stuff around. Go get the Tundra. They got options for everybody, and all of them will take you where you want to go with 17 different all-wheel or four-wheel drive vehicles. So if you want to go off-roading, if you want to go hit the trails, Toyota has you covered, whatever it might be. Jump in with them. They also have 16 different hybrid vehicles, so if you want to be eco-conscious, you can do that as well with Toyota. And they're not just the official vehicle of DNVR, they're the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche, too. So, visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you, including AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche is Toyota. Once you got yourself a Toyota, you live in Parker, right?
I do.
All right, so you're going to learn.
I do.
You're going to learn this year,
Okay.
with the timing of Avalanche games.
Yeah.
You're going to be driving directly into the sun a lot.
Cool.
This off season.
Yeah.
This in season.
I'm already dealing with it, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And I'm in, and it's rush hour
Yeah.
normally from the lovely DNVR bar all the way down.
So you're going to need some Shady Rays.
You have a solution
is
for
what
me.
I'm
This is why
saying
we're
right
friends.
there.
God,
Go hit up
knew it.
Shady Rays.
See that? I love that.
Get 35% off any pair of their polarized sunglasses. Yeah, we got a pair right there. There you go. You can just steal those. You're good to go. Use code DNVR at ShadyRaids.com to get that deal. Go over there. Over 300,000 people have rated them 5 stars.
That's great.
So they're
Lightweight,
pretty good at
comfortable.
what they do. They're also affordable price. They don't cost an arm and a leg like some of those expensive sunglasses do. Avoid doing that. Get with Shady Rays instead. Hundreds of different choices to choose from, including different polarizations. Whatever you want, Shady Rays has you covered. So again, ShadyRays.com and use that DNVR code to get 35% off your new pair of sunglasses. Third period? Yeah, I can count. Third period
third.
of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. You mentioned Olaussen. So here's the interesting conversation. Olaussen, also a first-round pick. Obviously, he's been around a little bit longer and hasn't really cracked the Avalanche roster. You guys mentioned it. Cal Ritchie's a center. I think the Avs want to play Cal Ritchie as a center.
Yeah.
Olaussen's a winger. And guess where all the mystery is this offseason for the Avs roster? It's at wing. Am I putting two things together that don't necessarily connect here, or does Oskar Olaussen have an opportunity? Can he prove a little bit of something at this rookie faceoff to maybe earn one of those winger opportunities, at least for the first month of the season? Certainly, there's opportunity there.
Absolutely. And if you go by those hockey expressions like, oh, the goalie couldn't stop a beach ball, or, the guy couldn't put the puck in the ocean, or, well, guess what? For Oskar Olaussen, the field is wide open. It's as wide open as it's ever been for him.
Yeah.
Can he do it? I don't know. Can he do it from what I've seen the last 2 years? No. Is he going to finally click this year and come in with some sort of an identity? And it seems like the field is way more open, like you said, when it comes down to his identity of a player, which is maybe a top 6 winger. I mean, that's what they kind of, drafted him as, right?
Yep.
A top 9 winger.
Yep. Middle 6 scorer
Middle
at
6
worst.
scorer,
Yeah.
winger that can shoot a puck. But you got to bring a little more to the table. Yes, as a teenager, didn't go back to Europe. He obviously played here in North America, and then a very competitive, hard American Hockey League. I think that, he didn't put up the numbers, or, that, I'm a first rounder.
Certainly dealing with injuries some there, too.
And then
but-
you're dealing with injuries, and you're dealing with the 82 games or whatever it is in the American League, but the North American schedule, and it's tough, and the American League is grueling too. It's like the NHL, and it's a lot of games, a lot of preparation. Now, you come in, what is this, his third camp now, or is it third, fourth, whatever it is, fourth, yeah.
Yeah.
So at some point, I wanted this last year. I think when I say we talked a lot about him last year ago, going into Vegas for the rookie camp, and
Yeah.
I was expecting more, right? I mean, this is a guy that, and my dad used to always say, like, don't wait for the train to go by, like, just jump on the train, right? You know what I mean? Because all of a sudden the train's gone. You know what I mean? Like, and reality is in sports is your opportunity, and you hear me talk about silver spooners. When I say that, I mean all the respect in the world with those terms, right? I'm not making fun of first rounders, but you will be given every opportunity to freaking perform and get a chance at it. So hasn't delivered for all the reasons. It's okay. It's a fresh slate. Yes, he got injured a little bit this summer, but it sounds like, he's pretty healthy now and ready to go, or else he wouldn't be playing in the rookie tournament, right? But when you've played in the American Hockey League for a couple of years, you should go out there this weekend and dominate that tournament.
I think he had a little bit of swagger to him, too, in talking to him today. Got a lot of confidence. He looks very comfortable. Obviously, he's been there, done it. Looks good. Said the same thing. Got a lot out of this last few weeks skating on the ice with, the likes of the McKinnons and whatnots of the world.
We should say both him and Ritchie have been around Colorado a lot this
Correct.
offseason.
Yeah. So I think that helps. I think there's a little chemistry there between those two, obviously. I love that. They get along. They're obviously very chummy together. They had some laughs together during the press conference, so there's a bit of a bond there. And I don't know. I love seeing that kind of thing, too.
They are, based on the practice today, going to be on a line together at the Rookie Faceoff, alongside Jason Polin as well. I will say for Olaussen, and look, again, this was a practice at 70% speed where guys are just kind of prepping for this face-off, so don't read too much into this. But I thought Olaussen looked pretty engaged today. He was one of the few guys that, in this more scrimmy type stuff, he was putting on forechecks. He was doing some of those physical things that I think the Avs have really wanted him to do. And you also saw he had one drill where he lost a puck. He got out-battled for a puck, and you saw frustration. It wasn't okay. It was, he knows that he needs to be better at those types of things if he wants to take that next step.
Guys had to get a little rust out today.
For sure.
First, Eric and I have coached hockey together before, and sometimes these drills get a little elaborate, and guys have a little bit of brain fog. And there was a drill early on today when you could just tell, you're looking down at the guys and. I've been there, right? I'm like, I have no idea what we're doing.
I'm supposed to be doing what?
Where am I going when this guy comes here? And you can see him chatting a little bit. All the guys, they walked away from a very long explanation at the dry erase board, and we're kind of looking at each other.
I blacked out after 30
Where
seconds.
do I go? So today was about getting that out a little bit too.
Sure.
So frustrations on losing pucks and whatnot, but remember they're humans. But
yeah, I mean, there's always a drill buster on every team. Our team would be AJ for sure. He'd be busting every drill. Menace. I don't see the menace in there right now, but that's fine. He's not lurking around. But hopefully he's watching at some point. But here's what I'll say. If I can say a personal story a little bit.
You weren't a drill buster.
No. Oh, no.
You were smart. Yeah, you had a good brain.
It might have not been pretty, but I did it
he
right.
Didn't bust it because he just kept going to the back of the line.
That's right.
Kept going to the back of the line.
That's Kevin McClellan.
I may have been the guy a couple of times where I'm like, I'm going to go back a guy.
Yeah.
Like, you go first. I'm going to just watch what your route is, and then I'll figure it out.
But if I can add a little story, personal story to these guys, we didn't have rookie camps. We had those rookie games that you'd go play a game. Like I said to you, by the third period, there'd be 3 guys left on each bench and 8 minutes left in the game. And then over the microphone, they'd be like, yeah, game's over. The fans would leave. And it'd be like, what? There's not enough guys to play the game. It was so stupid. All right. With that said, my second year, here I am in Toronto, Maple Leafs, and I had finished a season and, in the playoffs with the big club, and I didn't play, but it was an unbelievable experience. Now I go to my second camp. I'm ready to go because I didn't like my first camp. I didn't like the way I performed. I didn't like the way I showed. It just wasn't who I was. I froze, like I tell you guys. The problem was the Leafs were going to England, if I remember. So they took like 25 guys, and I wasn't one of them. And I was like, this is so stupid, right? We're all players. We're all analyzing. It's like, this is so dumb. I'm already cut. Are you kidding me? These guys practiced one day in Toronto. They flew to England and they were practicing their 3-4, and then they were there for a week. And I'm like, what is this? The other like 30 guys that are here, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, this is so dumb. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm gonna go hard, so I'm already cut. And I remember Mark Crawford talking to me and say, hey, listen, don't read into anything. I want you to be a leader. Be a leader this week. I need you to be a leader. What does that mean? When you get out there, you know my drills, you know my, you know what I mean, like my philosophy, and be at the front of the line of every drill. That doesn't mean like, oh, you're such a, you know, kissing butts and all that kind of stuff. No, at the end of the day, like you're being a leader. And I remember Crow telling me like, it's going to be good for you. You'll see, and then you'll have a great week. And when those guys come back, they're going to have no choice but to insert you because somebody will disappoint over there.
Right.
And then they're going to have to insert you in there. So no matter what you're up against, and I can tell you that Oskar maybe is a little bit like, at some point, then, when do you stop playing in those rookie tournaments? You know what I mean? Like, I'm being honest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's not like he's got 20, 40. Like, you don't see Malinsky there this year, right? You know what I mean? Again, he's not 18, but he also got a certain amount of games in the league.
Yep.
And so I remember, like, taking Crow's advice, and being a leader is so important because it's not just that in practice for the drills. It's in the locker room. It's being a guy there at the team meals and on top of everything and making sure everybody understands what we're doing, what's going on. Because for a lot of those people, it's new. Everything's new. They're used to their junior team, their whatever it is, their college team. They don't know how this works. And when you've been around and, you can show those guys what it means to be a pro and then had been a pro. And then again, there's some young guys there. I was the most valuable advice I probably ever gotten from Crow, besides telling me I was a plug, the year before. Yeah, you're a good plug, whatever that means. When it's an ego buster when you think you're good. But I remember taking it to heart. So it's important for those guys this week. A guy like Oskar that's been there. And to make sure you lead, make sure you're there, make sure you're taking everything seriously, that every shift matters. I don't care if it's rookie camp. You can't go out there at 3-4 good shifts and then sleep for 5 or 6. And then, because Jared Bednar is still in the stands, he will be there, I'm sure, coach. All of a sudden you form an opinion of a guy again. You're like, oh, here he goes again. Here he goes again. He's not learning. He's not performing. Your leash gets shorter. The silver spooners, right? All of a sudden, your leash is just like the other guy.
Also, listen, it's a carrot dangle.
It is.
I mean, take a guy like CR, for example. It's a carrot dangle. You said this yesterday, do you want to go back to Oshawa and slug through the Ontario Hockey League, and eat, pizza one on the bus at 10 o'clock after a snowstorm, and when you're climbing up the hill to get into Owen Sound, or do you want to jump on the charter jet with the menu on the table so I mean, for me,
it's an easy choice.
I enjoyed my time in the OHL.
Yeah, not a hard choice.
I very much like charter aircraft.
Yeah. I love the term plug, by the way, also because it. Conceptually, what does a plug do? Well, a plug fills a hole in your lineup.
Absolutely. It's got a purpose.
Which is exactly what, a plug, not in a bad way. You said that we should clarify that.
Yeah.
Crow loves you.
Oh, yeah.
Rudo makes an amazing point. You are a plug in the best possible way.
You got to be willing to do the work to fit the hole that you're plugging. And if you do that, all of a sudden, it's your spot now. It's not the hole you're filling.
Hey, listen, everyone on that roster was a good player. He's the best player on their team growing up. You know what I mean? All the way up to like now in juniors or college. And Jason Poland scored 30 goals in college hockey or close enough to that.
Don't knock Jason Poland. He's the only guy at this tournament that has an NHL goal.
No, absolutely. So. That's what I'm not. Hey, I like the guy. I'm rooting for him, by the way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, but at some point, you're not going to score 30 in the NHL. You're just not.
Yeah.
Because you won't be used. You got to know who you are. And if you're a plug, it's okay to be a plug. I tell you one thing. It's a great living. It's a great living to be a plug. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it's the greatest job in the world and the greatest league in the world. So, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to if you're those guys. But you got to find a nest, find what you are, and then go after it.
And I will say, super excited for that top line of Olaussen, Ritchie, and Poland.
Be fun.
Yeah.
Be fun.
Poland kind of the guy that do some of that dirty work for that line. Olaussen, a goal scorer. Ritchie obviously does everything well. Pretty easy line to hone in on for the Avs to watch as these prospects go to this rookie face-off, is they're all going to be trying to compete for NHL jobs this year. So those are the main three forwards to really look at. All right. We got a couple other forwards I'll touch on really quickly. We'll talk more about them throughout the weekend as they play. But Max Karan and Nikita Prishchapov both here at this rookie face-off as this year's drafts guys for the Avs. Unfortunately, we only have a couple because they're all college kids or Russians or not here. But those are the two to watch from this most recent draft. Thought Prishchapov looked pretty good today. Kid can shoot the puck a little bit, so he's fun. And then you also have Chase Bradley as the kind of college guy that the Avs want to sign. Was he a free agent? They signed him out of his junior year, right? So technically not a free agent.
Yeah, free agent.
Sure. Well, undrafted college.
Undrafted college.
Yeah. So he's also someone to watch when you go look at the forwards. We'll see. A handful of guys, someone like an Andre Pavel showed out super well at last year's camp. We'll see if we have someone like that this year. I know you're already picking Chase Bradley to be that guy. So,
and Poland, for me, it's you know what? Like, Poland, get out there and do what you do best.
Yeah.
I mean, get out there and be a menace.
I confidently said, go watch the short that just got posted. I think Poland will get NHL games this year. I think he will.
And nominal pressure on them.
For sure.
Right now.
Yeah.
Right? Much different pressure on those guys than what the Ritchies and the Olsons are facing.
Yeah. They're... the expectations certainly are nowhere near what they are for someone like a Ritchie.
But like Poland last year, he gets there and then he gets to the rookie turn and gets hurt, unfortunately. Yeah. But I liked what I saw. He was a menace. When I say that, it's like AJ in the chat, a menace, like just all of a sudden, like he's there and he's just like steering the pot, by being involved in every shift, every play, being physical. Obviously, he can shoot a puck because he scored many butts in college hockey. So now you got Chase Bradley. Again, I talked about him yesterday. It's the same thing for him. If I'm his agent, if I'm his guy, I'm talking to him. It'd be, hey, I'm not putting pressure on yourself. I'm telling you, don't go out there and then feel your way in. Go out there and get involved. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like he's a guy that got involved in college. If you look at his numbers in the USHL, I can't say I've never seen him play in the USHL, but it looks like a guy that got involved. You know what I mean? When I say get involved, it's not about fighting. It's not what I'm saying. But you're getting involved. You're in the play. You're in the game. You're going to rack up some penalty minutes because body contact brings confrontation, brings penalty minutes. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying fighting. I minor east side. I'm just saying it's easy to play a game and all of a sudden you don't go near anyone. Oh, yeah, you got to win the Lady Bing. Well, you're not going to crack the lineup by winning the Lady Bing if you're Chase Bradley. So you go out there, you take this opportunity right away. Don't wait for the train, like I said earlier, to go by. Jump on it, and then you're gradually. It's not going to be the same thing as Cal Ritchie. That's for people in the chat to understand, like the silver spoon. This is go earn every step and fight for every step and keep moving and keep climbing steps. Some steps take a little longer than others, and some steps they're quicker, and then you move on to the next one, the next one, the next one.
And I think this is a perfect thought process for Sean Behrens as well, who's
100%.
the Avs' one high-level defensive prospect that will be at this face-off. As the title of the show says, to me, it is Sean Behrens who has the most to gain from a rookie face-off like this, where, yeah, I think expectations are reasonably high for him, but they're not incredibly high. And if he shows out at a rookie face-off like this, turns some heads a little bit, then all of a sudden the Avs go, well, let's see what this guy does in the preseason. He turns some heads in that, then they're like, oh, all right, well, maybe we'll give him the last preseason game. He does well in that. Well, I don't really think there's a way he makes the Avs roster to start this year, but when those injury things inevitably happen, like every NHL season, maybe he becomes number one guy on the call-up list.
It's for these guys, it's 45 seconds at a time.
Yep.
It's one shift at a time. It's take it one period. You gotta break it down literally nominally like that. Like, I'm no great golfer, but how to coach, and I know the mental side of sports. And in golf, it's like the golf ball's got no memory, So whatever the last shot was, just hit the next one better or do something else because it doesn't matter. In hockey, it's the same thing. Go have a good shift. Yep. Get up and down the ice, get off, and go do it again. And if you didn't do good, or if you don't think you had a great shift, or if you fumbled the puck, for guys like that, okay, just go do the next best thing. And the other thing that these guys are going to be looking for is body language. Okay, when I was coaching or scouting, I always watched what they did on the ice, for sure, right? But then in situations like this, and you did the same thing because you kind of were the one that taught me this. Watch what they do when they get back to the bench.
Yep.
When they get back on the bench, if they had a bad shift, are they slamming their stick? Do they look completely rattled? Or are they pumping up their teammates? Are they like, okay, they kept their emotions up. So all of those little things are going to be what guys like that, need to make sure they keep into focus, because those are difference makers for coaches and GMs to decide, okay, what's the personality? What's the culture? What's the makeup of this kid?
In the pressers today, Brian Wilsey, Avs development staff, specifically called out Sean Behrens as, hey, he's going to be one of our leaders at this rookie faceoff. Even though it's his first one, he's kind of the leader of that defensive group for them going out there. So I had the opportunity to talk to Sean Behrens today. We talked for a couple of minutes with him. Let's play that interview now. All right, we're here with Sean Behrens, Colorado Avalanche prospect, getting ready for your first full year pro. You got the rookie face-off coming up. Maybe not quite as big as a national championship, but are you excited for the opportunity?
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to start playing games again. It feels like it's been forever since, I was up in Loveland at the end of the year playing games. So can't wait to get out there, start competing, and play against someone in a different jersey.
You might get the opportunity to play against Macklin Celebrini, first overall this year. Opportunities like that not always come available at a rookie face-off. Is there an opportunity for you to show your stuff against someone like him, or is there anyone else you're looking forward to playing against?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of good guys that are going to be down there that we're playing against. Gauthier, Smith, just to name a few. But I think when you get a chance to play against a guy like those, it's measuring stick games. It's can you defend against those high caliber, high skill guys that can make plays out of really nothing. So I'm excited to get an opportunity to play against some of the best prospects in the world.
For some of the people who might not know, can you describe your game for the Avs?
Yeah, I'm a two-way defenseman. I think my game starts in the D zone. I think when I'm closing on pucks quick, transitioning pucks the other way is when my offensive capabilities start to kick in, and the offensive side of my game starts to show. So I think everything for me starts with defense and wanting to compete and win your battles in your D zone, and then that kind of stems into the rest of my game, offensively moving pucks quick and moving my feet.
Moving pucks quick and moving your feet sounds like Avalanche hockey to me, for sure. You've had a ton of huge experience with DU here in Colorado. You got to play with the high draft pick Z Bouillon as well this year. How much does that experience translate into a first-year pro, and how has that adjustment been with the couple of games you got last year?
Yeah, I think the things I learned there, made me a more complete player and made me ready, on the ice, but also off the ice for the pro game. I think going to DU, it wasn't just because of hockey. I think it's the full experience, full package, and they have staff for everything there to help you get you to that next level. But at the same time, staying in the moment there and being able to win, I think that's also something that's really hard to learn at the pro level. So being able to go there and win 2 national championships is, there's experiences in those games, whether they're the final games or not, that I took away. And I thought that was a huge help for me throughout my 3 years.
I'm sure those experiences were part of the reason, but why did you feel you were ready to turn pro now?
Yeah, I thought that second national championship, being number 10 for the school, was huge for me. It was a huge goal after we won my freshman year. And I think kind of just building on that, I think I had a great season on both ends of the puck, proved I could play a fast but physical, strong defensive game. And I think I was ready and confident to jump to that next level. And the people around me felt comfortable too, so it was really a no-brainer for me.
Preseason's just getting underway, but do you have any specific goals for this season?
Obviously play NHL games, put myself in that conversation. Just get off the ground running quick, and it starts this weekend, starts tomorrow in the rookie tournament. I'm excited for the opportunity that's here and the start to my pro hockey career.
So you've played in DU. Expectation is you'll play at the Avs, hopefully. You'll probably start the season with the Eagles. Is that a realistic option?
Yeah, probably. I think so. Probably start down there and work my way up throughout the season.
All right, so that'll make it 3 different teams, hopefully, by the end of the year here in Denver. Sean, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Good luck
Appreciate
this
it.
year.
Yep, thank you.
All right, so
Job,
Eric,
Rudo.
yeah,
buddy.
every once in a while I can
Good
do
job,
an
buddy.
interview, all right?
Good
All
job,
right?
buddy.
Sometimes.
Good job, buddy. It's not easy. People don't understand how hard that is sometimes.
Eric, I need some clarification because I know you're about to talk about this. Is it don't do math or you can't do math?
Both. So
I cannot do math.
so it's
Don't
both.
ever ask me to do math. Like I
It's
still use
both.
my fingers.
Hey, what a nice kid too. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah, great kid.
what
Great
a
kid.
nice kid. This kid's got a good head on his shoulders, and I think he'll have a great career ahead of him. You talk about swag and some smarts and fun kid to talk to. Here's what I'll say: if this was my son or I'm his agent or whatever, is don't do math. Or throw everything out the window. You like math in school? Great. Oh, yeah, I really like math. Calculus? Great. Now, don't do it here. Everything goes out the window. You put your head in the sand. You go work. Don't worry about how many D's are in the roster. What is the pecking order? Because you have no say in what the decisions are going to be. What you can do is make them make decisions. And that's only thing you can do by controlling the controls. It's the hardest thing to do as a professional athlete. It's the hardest thing to do because you sit there and you're looking, and all of a sudden somebody signed Brandstrom. You're like, oh God, I just went down a little further. Oh God, they signed Shillington. Oh God, I went down a little further in the pecking order. You can't. You got to go out there. It starts this weekend. Will said it. Got to be a leader. You know they've given the speech that Crawford gave me, and get out there. Even though you haven't been around, you have won 2 national championships, and you build yourself ready for this moment of your first National Hockey League training camp. It starts with a rookie camp. Get out there, show what you can do, be the person that you are, and go out there and lead. The rest will fall into place. And make sure that the staff and the fans and us, we go, check mark on Sean Behrens on this rookie camp. Next step. What is that?
Yeah.
Preseason games. And that's what it is. I think this kid's smart. I think he's going to put his head down and just go work and be the best that he can be. And wherever that leads him, his play will tell where he's at.
Almost all of these guys are alphas, too, in hockey. You find very few who aren't.
To make it to that level, you almost have to be.
You got to be an alpha. You got to be a leader, and that kind of oozes off, and then it becomes, the pecking order of who's the bigger alpha in the room. But like B-Dub said, they want leaders.
Yep.
They want guys that take initiative. They want guys that aren't just followers. They want guys that are going to, contribute to this team, whether immediately or in some point. And then, it's benchmarks on development, like he was just saying. You do one thing, and then you do the next thing. It's like that great line in, the Matt Damon movie where he's stuck on Mars.
The Martian?
The Martian. You solve one problem, and then the next problem, and you keep solving problems. And if you solve enough problems, eventually you're through it. And that's the same thing in making a hockey team.
And you can't solve problem 4 before you solve problem 1.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Question in the Toyota chat. Why not Jedliška? Maros Jedliška, another Avs prospect, is playing in the Czech League this year, which starts Tuesday. So the timeline just did not work out for him to be able to come to this. He's at his own training camp for his season. And then beyond that, I just want to shout out the Toyota chat in general. I'm seeing a couple of names starting to trickle back in as preseason starts up.
This is fun. I like this quite a bit.
See some diehard names in there.
Yeah, do
sure
that.
A bunch more you'll be joining as we ramp up to the season. So
yeah, the diehard thing is cool. Make sure you guys are jumping in on
go
that if
check
you
it
haven't.
out.
I'm just learning kind of about that. I'm the new guy, but that seems super fun. Do the link, do the like, do the subscribe.
Yeah, do all the good stuff.
Yeah.
So that is going to wrap up today's show because guess what? Very early in the morning, we have a flight to L.A. to go cover this whole rookie face-off for y'all. You'll have live pods from out there. You'll have tons of content, interviews. I don't want to spoil any names, but some pretty cool people we're going to be talking to out there. So keep your eyes peeled here and on our Twitter account, DNVR_Avalanche. Follow all that stuff. We appreciate y'all, and we will be back with you tomorrow.
like the mayor.